Today's video is actually for the guys. Now, everybody's welcome to stick around, but I've got some things just for the guys. Welcome back to my channel, my friends. I'm Dr. Jennifer Lincoln, OBGYN, author, and educator. And today I am talking really to the guys, but honestly, everybody is welcome here. And before I tell you why, go ahead and subscribe and turn on the notifications so you never miss an upload if you're not already subscribed. So here's the situation. You may have seen a couple videos that I've released recently related to the clitoris and masturbation, and you may have seen that they got a lot of views, which was really exciting. Here's the interesting thing about those views. So in the past 28 days, 68% of you people watching my videos identify as men, which I find very interesting on a channel by an OBGYN, a very new demographic for me. What's even more interesting are your ages. So about 50% of you are 55 or older. So I am talking to 55 and 60-year-old men, apparently. And so really, my video today is for you. Now, I am wearing a shirt that says, "No country for old men," because you know I love to wear my theme t-shirts. But today, actually, this is your country, and I welcome you, and I'm excited to have you. So what I want to talk about, since I've got your attention, I want to bust some myths and address some things that I, as an OBGYN, want you guys to know about us. People who have clitorises, vaginas, women, those assigned female at birth. So buckle in, let's get going. So one hint that I got that there were more guys on my channel than girls were some of the comments that y'all dropped into my comments section, specifically on the YouTube video about masturbation, such as show and tell on this topic would be preferred. Ha 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 ha. And I'm only in the comments because I like mass debating. You see what he did there? That was actually kind of funny. And then this one, because why not? So what I find interesting is that even though there were a lot more guys on my page and older guys, like adults, I felt like I was in middle school. So that's just a general comment that I found very interesting. But anyway, what we're going to talk about today are things that I want you all to know that maybe you don't know. So welcome to this safe space of the OBGYN's channel. Here we go. The first thing first is I want to do a quick anatomy refresher, although a lot of you seemed to watch the video where I talked about that. But just to remind you, here's my friend again, just to remind you that this is the tip of the clitoris, not the whole clitoris, and that what you actually get with the clitoris is this whole little friend right here. And it fits in just like that. And what you can see here is that even though this is visible externally, the parts that go here go laterally and flank around the vagina, and that's why stimulation of the labia minora and the labia majora, the inner lips and the outer lips, can feel good. So to show you that in another way, and I hope you're taking notes, here is an example of a vulva. You've got your clitoral hood with the clitoris underneath here. If this puppet had the urethra, it would be right in here, but it doesn't. The labia minora, or the inner lips, the outer lips, or the labia majora, all of this is the vulva. This is not the vagina. The vagina is what's inside. All right, got it? Okay. This is a pelvis, a little more anatomy just when you thought we were done. And one more way to see it, you can see here, this is the vaginal opening here. This is the labia minora. What's up here is the clitoris. What's yellow? That's the urethra. That's where the urine comes out, vagina and anus. Obviously, these are muscles and ligaments and the bones, but you get an idea. So yes, there's three holes down there. Not one, not two. I don't know who thinks there's one, but a lot of people seem to think there's just two. And if you've seen my other videos, I've talked about why stimulating the clitoris is so important, because 80% of people who have a clitoris need that stimulated in order to orgasm, as opposed to just vaginal penetration alone. But I've covered that in more detail in my other videos, so you can check those out. Okay, point number 2 that I want my new friends to know, that you need to focus on foreplay. So if you think that foreplay is like 2 seconds worth of taking off your partner's clothes and then, you know, it's time to have penis and vagina sex and everything is good, it's not. Please stop and slow down. And the reason foreplay is important is because that helps increase the vaginal lubrication, which will then make sex more comfortable for your partner and for you. So if you've done like 2 seconds worth of foreplay and you're wondering why it's hard to get your penis in your partner's vagina, or she's saying, ow, that hurts, which obviously you should listen, it could be that there's just not enough lubrication. And rather than make fun of your partner and be like, what's wrong with you? You could back up and take some time. You could also use lube because lube is awesome for pretty much everyone. So if your partner brings out lube, I don't want you to feel like, oh, I'm not enough to get her excited and get her wet enough for sex. Lube is great for everybody. So go ahead and use it. Okay, point number 3, and this is maybe the most important one that I want my new male friends to take away from this. Vaginas are supposed to smell like, fill in the blank. Vaginas, yep, that's right. If you said vaginas, you get 100,000 points and we're now best friends. What vaginas are not supposed to smell like are pineapples and pina coladas and daiquiris and whatever other scent that's out there. And the reason I want to make this obvious is because I've had so many of my followers who've messaged me and said, my boyfriend said that my vagina doesn't smell good or it doesn't taste good, or he said I should drink this so that it tastes better. No, literally vaginas are supposed to have a light scent like a vagina. Now, if you're saying, Dr. Jen, it doesn't just have a light scent, it smells like something else and I don't like it. Well, I'm going to have you pause there for a second, because how you say this to your partner could really leave her feeling very ashamed or dirty or like you don't like her. So I want you to really stop and think before you have that conversation. And if she doesn't seem bothered by it and she has no concerns for a sign of infection or has no other issues and this isn't new, then that just might be what her vagina smells like, and maybe you should just be thankful you're there. But something that's very psychologically damaging is that a lot of feminine hygiene companies like Summer's Eve and Vagisil make these products that have scents like rosebush and morning dew and whatever, I don't know what else, that make people like us think that we're supposed to smell that way. And then we get embarrassed when we don't, and we get really, really down on ourselves when you make fun of us for what our natural scent is. So I really want you to understand that vaginas are supposed to smell like vaginas. Lesson number 4, pubic hair has a purpose. So if your partner has all of her pubic hair down there and she's all natural, awesome for her, because that's just the way we were made. Pubic hair actually is meant to be there to reduce friction between the gentle vulvar skin and our clothes. It helps to trap bacteria, and its presence actually makes it less likely that you will get a sexually transmitted infection. And shaving and hair removal actually makes that more likely because of the little cuts and the bleeding that you can get from hair removal. So if your partner removes her hair and she likes it that way, that's awesome. But if she doesn't, I do not want you telling her, yeah, I'm only going to go down on you if you shave or if you trim. Or, yeah, I like my girls to be bare down there. That's not okay. So not everything is like what you see in the porn industry. And if somebody has all their hair or has none, that's their choice. And I don't want you shaming them for it. Okay? Moving on to point number 5 for today's lesson for my students here who I'm sure are taking notes. Don't obsess over tightness. Because here's a question for you. How is it that a girl who has sex with 30 guys is somehow loose? But if she has sex with you 30 times over, like somehow that's okay? So the vagina is a muscular tube. We know this. And it's meant to stretch in childbirth. We know this. And it goes back. Are there some cases where after having lots of babies or a very large baby, is there sometimes issues with vaginal prolapse or prolapse of other organs and things there? Absolutely, related to, obstetric damage, that kind of thing. But having sex and like somehow not being tight anymore because you're no longer a virgin or you've had other partners, that's totally ridiculous. And that makes me kind of wonder other things about your anatomy. But the point here is that please don't say to your partner, that she doesn't seem tight or not, because, well, that's just a weird thing to say to somebody. There's nothing she can do about it, and maybe it's more about you rather than her. Okay, topic number 6, and the final one for today that I want all of my male viewers to know is that periods are not gross. They are a natural bodily function. And when your partner has her period, please don't make her feel dirty about it. Please don't tell her that she's gross or she smells or that she's moody or she's a bitch or she's annoying or whatever. Like, periods sometimes aren't the most comfortable thing in the world. So the best thing you can do when your partner is on her period is be even more supportive than you normally are. When it comes to period sex, totally, you can totally do it. And in fact, some people like it even more because for people who are having the periods, orgasming can actually help decrease the cramping that's associated with periods. And maybe this sounds a little out there, but period blood is actually a really great natural lubrication. If your partner does not want to have sex at all on her period, that's also okay. It's all about her choice. But don't assume that just because she's on her period, she has no interest in sex. during that time. It also doesn't mean that just because she's on her period that she's obligated to give you oral sex because there's nothing else that you could do. So please don't make her feel that she needs to do that. That's just really weird. And you can even level up your game more if when your partner's on her period that you have some things available for her. So have a little basket in your bathroom with some tampons, some pads, some liners, maybe some ibuprofen, and just have it there for her. So if she's over at your place and she needs to use one of them, they're already there. Like total bonus points, trust me. And ask her what she needs. Does she need a heating pad? Does she want to rest? What does she want for dinner? Now, when we have our periods, the vast majority of us, we're not disabled. I mean, for some people, periods are really bad, but it's also often not like our favorite day, especially that first day of our periods. So just ask her what she needs and understand that periods, seriously, they're just not gross. Okay, so if you have watched this far, those are the top tips I have for you as an OBGYN for you, my new guy friends who are here on this channel. But I'm sure there's other stuff that you want me to cover. So go ahead and drop your questions below, but no more middle school comments, okay? Like seriously. And if you're not already following me on Instagram and TikTok, you can find me there at Dr. Jennifer Lincoln. And I've got a book out too, and I wrote it really for, women and those assigned female at birth. And if you're a guy and you want even more information and you just can't get enough, well, you might want to check out my book called Let's Talk About Down There. If you read this and get all of these topics down, I guarantee you're going to be a pretty awesome guy, and you're eventually going to be an awesome dad if you choose to have kids, and an awesome partner. So go ahead and check it out wherever books are sold. And I hope to see you here next week.